these city councils, are you doing this like within a group, or are you doing this mostly alone? Like, what does your team look like when you're facing all of these challenges, and also sending water,
I'm
of course.
alone. Usually I'm doing it alone. I'm doing everything alone. But
Wow.
sometimes at the city council, I would go if there's public comment because they make you wait I would wait sometimes 9, 10, 11, 12 hours just to comment. That's how they do it. They do it that way on purpose because they think nobody's gonna be patient. And
So you're
that's what I'm
just you're
telling you. It
just
was,
sitting there like shaking. You're like, dude, please let me speak. Hold it right there. In the spirit of Ramadan, I will be donating 1 penny for every subscriber I get this month to families in Gaza. So what I need from you is to like, subscribe, comment, and share my YouTube channel with your family and friends so you can help me reach my goal of $1,000. And if you really do feel motivated, then please go down to my links in the description down below so you can check them out and you can get involved in my fundraiser as well. Now back to the video. With that, so first of all, Amon, thank you for joining me today. I know we just kind of met right now, but already hearing you and some of the stuff that you've done, it's already super inspiring, and I'm sure whether with this fundraiser, future fundraisers, whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna be successful, inshallah.
inshallah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm super excited for just meeting people. First of all, I know this is an interview about you, but let me make it about me for a second. And so I've been reading this book about the three principles of like the fundamentals of Islam, right? And it's like you like first you can't just do action without knowledge, and obviously you need knowledge to do action, right? And so seeing young people, people of our generation like taking action is super inspiring to me. I think it doesn't like being in other religions, like, or like, as a Christian before, it wasn't like worldly things doesn't really bother people, right? It's like, okay, I go to
Yeah.
church on Sunday. If maybe if I have a couple bucks and I see a homeless person, I'll take care of them. Maybe some minister stuff, but I mean, seeing like now diving deep into Islam and just seeing like the care for not only just one's family but the local community and also like people abroad. It's like, wow, like it's pretty inspiring, right? And you're someone
Mhm.
that, what I've heard from Ahmed and obviously talking to you, can is someone that's trying to lead the path. And so with that, that's a long introduction to for you to tell us about your background. Like, where are you from? Where's your family from? How long like have you been in the Bay Area? Et cetera, et cetera. And so just kind of go off from there.
Okay. Yeah, I was born in Oakland actually. We're from Yemen, but I was born in Oakland
Mm-hmm.
and raised there. And I went to school most of my life there, and I ended up going to college between Berkeley City College, and then I transferred to Cal State East Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and I did my bachelor's in child development and human development,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked at the elementary school for like 7 years for the city of Emeryville. So I was always working like in community service and like with kids and stuff like that, but I wasn't specifically like in the masjid as much
Yeah.
until like 2023, like when I started doing more like fundraising efforts.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
did that happen, like, your involvement in the masjid and then fundraising efforts, like, was that like a simultaneous thing? Like, did you join the message to start doing more fundraising? Like, I guess, give me some explanation here.
So I had been going to that masjid for a while, but my family, like, Jumu'ah is like obligated for the men. So like the men would
Of
go like
course.
every Jumu'ah, and sometimes the women, honestly, we wouldn't go as much unless it was like Eid, Ramadan,
Mm-hmm.
Tarawih, like those times. Um, and I wanted to start getting back more into the masjid, but like between like college and work and everything, like sometimes there wasn't always time. But Ramadan, like we always make a point to
Mm-hmm.
like find time for that. And then um I saw like some people selling food, and I saw some people having like small businesses and stuff, and I'm like, I wanted to get into fundraising and stuff, but I know it's not going to be sustainable to just ask people to like keep fundraising without offering something. Like this
Yeah.
is a small masjid, is a small community. I want something to like get people to come to my table. So I was like, let me try out food. And it just went like really well.
Oh, you started
Alhamdulillah.
making
Yeah,
food?
that's how I raised the money.
Oh,
That's the
wow.
way I raised the money. Every
Even
single
now?
Jum'ah, I'm there. Yeah, I've been doing it for
Oh,
2 years.
really?
I
Oh,
thought Ahmed told you that.
no, no, no. I'm just learning. I didn't know. Yeah, I was just like, all right, you're just asking me for more money. Let's
That's how I
go.
get donations. So that's how I
Okay.
get donations, and that's why I was concerned about Ramadan, and he decided to like help me connect with you because he knows Ramadan I can't sell hot food.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I
I'm doing
sell
the
like
work for you. Let's go.
Inshallah,
Tag
no, we're
team.
gonna do an iftar. I'm gonna cook. Last year I did an iftar, and this year, inshallah, I'll do another one. But
Inshallah.
it's not the same as like every single Jummah selling food,
For sure.
Yeah. So I did start just like with family and friends and like just having people to try to get enough for the water because when I found out how cheap it was, like before the cash rates and everything got high, I was like, that's pretty doable. Like if I get 20 people or if I get like 25 people, we could do that every week. And it was working out in the beginning, but
Hmm.
like I said, that's not sustainable,
Yeah.
That's just like a small project and the need was getting bigger.
Yeah.
And this was past going into 2024. So more families were sheltering and coming from the north down to the south of the people that I was working with. And the camp expanded and it became like it went from like 50 families, probably like 200 families. And
Hmm.
then the camp next to it, same thing, like 400 families. That's like thousands of people, At that point, one water truck is not going to be enough. But that was the capacity that I had. I was like, I can only cook so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
people want to donate more, then we could do food or we could do other projects. But the main necessity is always going to be water
For sure.
because that's like what they're cutting them off from. And they bombed the desalination plant. So it's like
Hmm.
all they have is these trucks. They're relying on these trucks.
Hmm.
Um, and for a while, alhamdulillah, like it was slow, but it slowly started like picking up. And sometimes like Ramadan or Eid, like somebody will make like a one-time big donation, and then I could do like a bigger project, or I could do like food distribution. We did grocery distribution. We did orphan sponsorship. Um, During the mandatory evacuations, we helped like three families evacuate.
Wow.
Um, so, we just work like on a small basis with
Hmm.
the people that I know on the ground. I don't go through like any big companies or like third parties. I make sure it like goes directly to the people that I personally know. And I've been working with the same people for like the past 2 years.
Hmm.
People try to convince me to expand, but I'm like, I see some people get scammed, or I see some things where some people, when they receive like a large amount, they get greedy or maybe they inflate prices like a little
Yeah. Yeah.
bit.
Assalamu alaikum, folks. I hope you guys are really enjoying this interview so far. I mean, this interview was a blast to record. Aman is truly passionate and she's fiery and she really, does a lot for, her local community and the community, the Muslim community at large. And so, again, please leave a like and definitely check out the donation link down below so we can help support her in her cause, in her efforts in helping, different, over 200 families in Gaza. Now, unfortunately, in this part of the interview, we did get to a part that is a little bit sensitive. And it's still, it seems like an ongoing process. And so, due to her request, we ultimately are taking it out of the video. However, there is an Instagram clip that I wanted to share that she wanted to also share with you guys as well, just so you can see just how passionate she is about all of these different issues, especially what's going on with our Gazan brothers and sisters. Take a look.
Proud Yemeni American. I was born and raised in California. I'm a former Berkeley student. I volunteer for a collective that raises money to do water distribution in Deir al-Gaza. Last week, we had the funds, but we could not do the transaction because there was no water for them to distribute. They're on day 56 of not a single drop of water entering the Gaza Strip. 2 million civilians. 2 million civilians, over which half the population is children. For the people saying that you're voting against peace, that's the Peace Commission. That's the Peace Commission, not the Hamas Commission. The Peace Commission and the pastor and Jewish Voice for Peace and your constituents and this community who has been hurting for 570 days. It's honestly despicable that we're turning it into two sides. It's not two sides when there's 100,000 civilians dead on one side. It's not two sides when it's been 76 years of occupation. And I would love to read you from the Commission on a Jewish Homeland in Palestine, 1937, the quote from Winston Churchill, one of the first Zionists. I do not agree that the dog in a manger has the final right to the manger, even though he has lain there for a very long time. I do not admit that right. For instance, that a great wrong has been done to the Red Indians of America or the black people of Australia. I do not admit that a wrong has been done to these people by the fact that a stronger race, a higher grade race, a more worldly wise race, to put it that way, has come in and taken their place. And the former prime minister of Israel used to refer to us Arabs as human beasts. This is systematic. This is ethnic cleansing, and it's been going on for a very long time. And a threat to our justice is a threat to the justice of Jewish people everywhere.
So things like that, like it's kind of sad because I do encourage people. I'm like, don't be scared to like talk to people or ask questions. Like there's always families and DMs or comments asking for help. Ask them a couple questions. Sometimes you could see their location. You don't even have to ask them for their number or to send you like something live, but you could do that. Like it's not hard to have like a 5 minute conversation. Be like, oh, how are you? Where are you? Where do you live? Like, can you show me that you're actually in Gaza or that you're like in a tent community? Because even in Gaza, subhanAllah, there's a lot of disparity between the north and the south, for example. There are people who still have their homes standing.
Yeah.
And then in the north, 98% of the infrastructure is gone. So if you're from the north, you have nothing. You, not most likely, you do have almost nothing left.
Yeah.
So, like, I try to tell people, like, do some due diligence. Like, don't just ignore these families, but do like a little type of like conversation. There's nothing wrong with that because a lot of these people, they're more than willing to provide proof.
Yeah.
People have medical documentation if they're on medicine. They have, you know, they have like these medical tents. You don't have to necessarily go to a hospital to prove that like you have a condition or that you're hungry or that you're in a tent. Like there's ways that people, regular people on the ground, can connect with families. Like subhanAllah, we've never been in like an age of social media like this where it's like this easy to connect.
For sure.
And to have like all this information. Because there are people, they don't want to go through any organizations. And I always encourage people, I'm like, if you don't want to donate through me, find a way to do it to yourself because there's so many people who could use it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's actually like, you know, really like great advice, but it's so simple, right? It's like,
yeah,
like I never thought
like,
about that.
Don't be scared and be like, oh, I can't do it. It's like that's what they want people to think. They want people to be like, it's too complicated,
Yeah.
it's too dangerous, nobody do it. Oh, there's going to be legal trouble. There's so many platforms. There's PayPal, there's Chuff, there are still some standing GoFundMe's. There's plenty of ways to people to do it through somebody else or through an organization if they don't want their name to connected to it. If people really wanted to contribute, they would find a way to do it.
No, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's actually like fantastic advice. Is, you know,
Yeah.
like if, you know, don't wait for someone like me. Like I shouldn't even have waited for someone like you. Like, you know, we like there's people like especially on Twitter. I know Twitter, you were seeing people constantly post, but then as you mentioned, do your due diligence, right? Making sure it's like these people are legitimate. You know, these people like do have needs, right? They are in like, you know, parts of Gaza that, you know, have been, you know, as you mentioned, 98% destroyed. So no, that's like I said, it's like almost like, wow, like how do you not think of that? But you're right, like, you know, it's fear mongering and to making sure that people don't
there's a lot of fear mongering around that. Yeah,
for sure.
And I did tell, and then it's so funny because some people, they're too nice. They're on the opposite end. They're like, well, we're coming from an immense place of privilege, how could we question them? I'm like, when you're first establishing a relationship with anybody in the world, no matter where they are, Muslim or not, you always should like establish that trust in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Before starting anything, even before just talking to somebody for the first time, even if we're not talking money. You know, there are Muslims out there who are just Muslim by name.
Yeah. No,
unfortunately.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And so yeah, you know, from your capacity, you started this by doing just, you know, water donations, because obviously that's always the highest of need. And so, you know, let's say like, you know, someone has like $1. What can $1 do and help provide for someone overseas? Or I guess if like maybe $10 or $100, like what would that look
$10.
like?
I mean, last time I did a coat distribution, I could get some jackets for literally as cheap as like $12. $10 can do a lot more than what people could think it do, especially because I pay the fees when I send, and we're sending everything all at once. So it's like, if I have a small amount, I'm not going to send right away. I'm going to wait until we collect it.
Yeah.
And that small little $10 is going to be a part of like a huge distribution. So they're going to get the edge. They're going to get the barakah. No matter what, no matter if it's $5 or $50, you know,
for sure,
literally everything helps.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, like let's say, you know, like with 10, like just like let's just say like in terms of like water, right? Like I know sometimes you might do food depending, or you might do like clothing depending, or tent depending. You know, like with $10, like would that like help a family for, you know, a day? Would that help like in terms of water? Like could that be like for a week? Like what do you think that would be like?
I would say, because the water, they normally do it in increments of 5,000 liters, and a 5,000 liter truck runs before fees around $300. It'll be like the same type of philosophy. Like I would just contribute it to like the bigger distribution.
Makes
For
sense.
food, yeah, then no, they can definitely feed people with $10. I'd say like even a whole grocery bag that would feed people for at least like 3 to 5 days would probably run them like $30.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too bad right now. People are a little bit scared that it's gonna shoot up because there are rumors that the borders and things are gonna close again.
Yeah.
But even from before, the amount of aid that was supposed to be coming in is not coming in.
Yeah.
Any aid that comes in at all lowers the prices. So any aid is good, but it's nowhere near the amount that it should be. It's like right now it's slightly higher than America, which is funny to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah. So you say like one truck costs around $300. So how many people would that help? For and like for how long of a time?
We would they used to do it once a week. That was just my responsibility to contribute for one 5,000 liter truck because that was my capacity at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
they were getting about like 2 trucks every week.
Okay.
And if they run out, they would get another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, and that would be, for the families of like 50. Is that what you said earlier that you're helping before, or the 200?
It was 200 families.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if they don't have enough, they would just get somebody else to cover like the other truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that would last, that one truck and those 200 families, that would last like what would you say, like
The week.
the week. Okay. Wow. I mean, that's just crazy to think about.
So they were kind of like, it honestly depends on the area that they're in. The area I work in was in the south. And there's the dirty groundwater and then there's the drinkable water,
Okay.
right? So there was a time where they were almost like rationing water because they had to choose between drinking water or using it for bathroom and hygienic purposes.
Yeah.
And my most important thing was people's dignity, you know?
Of
So
course.
I can't afford to make like personal bathrooms, but I can afford to help them get like a hose and dig up like a ground well that's already has like the
Mm.
infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
half there.
Yeah.
So they were able to do that for very cheap, like pennies on the dollar.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah, that helped like lessen the load a lot.
Yeah.
There are some areas where there's nothing available like
Mm-hmm.
that, so they have to use it for both, and they might need more trucks because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Luckily, the area that I was working in is like a little bit more, what is the word? Like more aid comes in through that spot
Okay.
in the south. It's called Dir al Balah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like where the most, I'd say like 1.2 or 1.1 million people were there.
Mm.
The whole area in
Yeah.
general. Yeah. The Dir al Balah camps is where most people ended up taking refuge from the north and from the middle. But then it was like kind of complicated because some of the people that we work with, they had to go back to where, they were from. And then there was a third or fourth or God knows what number it was evacuation. And that one was mandatory when they drew the yellow line
Mm-hmm.
and they can't return to any home that's behind the yellow line.
Wow.
So now my work looks a little bit different because the people that I was working with are split.
Yeah.
So now like some are in one area and some are in another area. And I like that because I can have impact in different
For
areas.
sure.
But like maybe like on social media, for example, it'll look slower or smaller, like
Mm.
30 here, 30 jackets there, 30,
Yeah.
Like some people, they want to see like, oh, we sent for 100, we want to see it like all at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They think the results are gonna come like magic like that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, like one, I think it's interesting, like, learning more about this slowly. It's like, you're talking to people, you're hearing what their needs are, like, not like every single time you fundraise money, it's not like the same, like you're getting them the same
Yeah.
things. Like you're seeing like, okay, they might need jackets, they might need maybe food, they might need a
Yeah.
hose, right? It's
Hmm.
not just like you're getting them gallons of water. And so, and then, but yeah, like, from like I guess the benefactor point of view, you're like, well, I donated all this money, so like, why isn't there larger results? And you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, like, be patient, we're trying. This is also like a
Yeah, or
human's life.
sometimes, subhanAllah, they don't even have internet to send me the video or the space to record
Yeah.
so it takes time. Like sometimes I'll send them something and they'll send me over the course of like 8 days, like the videos, and I have to put them together. And it's just, that's what they're working with,
Yeah.
We have somebody there, he does graphic design, and sometimes he doesn't have electricity. So it's just, I'm trying to give these people like the opportunity to get back to their normal lives and help out. And because they're not taking like expecting money this is like on a volunteer basis.
For sure.
This whole like we don't have like you see the other people in Gaza, they have like vests with their names sewed on the charity into the back. And I'm like, I'm not gonna waste any money on uniforms. I know it gives a good look,
Yeah.
but we're just a mutual aid collective. We're not a company. We're not it's not like a registered, like under the government or anything. This is just like a message based project that I've been trying to keep going.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, no, and this is like where the real work is done, right? Where you're actually like you're actually helping people. You're
Yeah.
not doing
And
this.
I like it this way because I can see literally where every dollar goes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. And so, I know you were kind of touching on it in the beginning, but what, like, is there something like I guess just to say it bluntly, like, what inspired you to do this? Like, what like really is motivating you to do this?
A year of going to, or less than a year, I don't know how long, in 2023 up until I started in the summer of 2024 fundraising. I was going to a lot of city council meetings, um, trying to make an impact, trying to get through to them. You know how that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Very frustrating. Feels like it's not making a difference. It's important to keep showing up. It's important to keep making your voice heard, but the politics of it is just bigger. Unfortunately, it's a disgusting system. Sometimes, like, it does, like, you can, like, right now, inshallah, actually, please make dua. I have a meeting on Wednesday for the Oakland Divest campaign. We finally secured an appointment with the president of the city council because I went to a public event and I
What'd you do?
like he called it a coffee chat where like anybody in the room could like raise their hand. He did it in a coffee shop actually because he said he wants to listen to the community. And it's funny because I remember him from 2023 when I went there to speak to them about the ceasefire resolution. And I was like, I remember you, because he wasn't president at that time. I was like, I remember you when you were a council member in 2023. You said you're tired of waking up and seeing dead babies on your phone. What changed? He got really embarrassed.
Wow. Yeah.
He got really embarrassed. And I said, and they sent over 1,300 emails in the past 4 months from the Oakland Divest campaign, and nobody has responded. When can we meet with you? When are we going to be able to meet with you? He's like, we can definitely meet. And he was like, so like,
wow.
you know.
No, you called them out.
So, inshallah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, of course, because I'm like, they care. That's politicians for them. That's their image is everything.
Yeah.
He's at a community event with cameras and everything. Of course, me saying something like that, he has to say, yes, I'll meet with you.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that maybe he wasn't going to follow up, but alhamdulillah, we got the appointment. So
wow, and so it's coming up.
The legislation is all written now, and Richmond, Albany, and Hayward, they've already divested. So we're really, really hoping that Oakland, inshallah, will be the fourth. Because Oakland, they should have already took precedent with something like that. And I told them too, I was like, that's really embarrassing that Oakland didn't do this first.
For sure.
I was like, I don't think that Oakland is the type of city that wants to use our tax dollars to go and kill our families. Do you guys think? And I looked at the other people in the room. They're like, no.
Yeah. Dang.
I don't get shy when it's with the council members because they're snaky. Like you have to,
Yeah.
They really care about their image and they really. But yeah, so I was getting really like disheartened with that and the work that I was doing with A-Rock. It was all on a volunteer basis, just because it's like, how do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night knowing that even if you're not working for this, because I used to work for the city, even if you're not working for the city anymore, even if you don't have a job right now, because technically I don't have a job right now. Just even knowing like federal tax, sales tax, those things are going to that. I'm like, how can you sleep at night knowing that you're not doing something actively as a Muslim to try to counteract that?
For sure.
And it got even worse when, because I'm from Yemen.
Yeah.
And you saw like Yemen tried to defend Gaza and the price that they tried to make them pay for it for stopping the ships in the Red Sea. Oh. It was a whole emotional roller coaster, but I'm like, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like, no matter, like, I might not have the impact or like the network that I wish that I had, but I have two hands and I can cook and people buy my food.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna change. You know what I mean? So I was like, every week I'm gonna keep doing anything that I can do to make some sort of an impact. Because how embarrassing, not how embarrassing, but just how shameful would it be if I know like something is just this tiny little amount, maybe like $200, $300. That might be a lot for somebody who doesn't have a job at the time. But when you know a network of 20, 50, 100 people, if every person gave $1, $3, it's like, of course we could do that every week.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we do that every week?
Yeah. No,
I
totally.
wouldn't want to stop,
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. No, I mean, one, your passion bleeds through the camera, and it's and it's been great. I've had a lot of conversations with people like young in our group, and it's good that you're standing up for the truth and standing up to people that like bless other peacemakers, right? And so it's amazing that you're.
Literally a message from Gaza right
Oh,
now.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Saying good morning.
Really, really, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe there's something in the air, right? Allah Azza wa Jalla is the best of planners, um, but no, that's incredible, and yeah, I mean, I totally get you from, like I remember in, when it was like what really got me like just like thinking about the whole world was when America left Afghanistan, right, in 2021,
Yeah.
and I saw like people were so terrified and they were like falling off of like the airplanes, and I was like really questioning. I was like, what is like our government doing? Why are we putting all these people in danger? What is my even opinions about all of this? And so I really had to take a step back and really just think about life in general. And so ultimately led me on the path to becoming a Muslim, and now it's led
Oh
me.
wow, subhanallah.
Yeah, subhanallah. And so I mean, it was a very long, degenerate journey at times. Unfortunately, trying to let go of my
When
Western
did you
life.
become Muslim?
So this was I've been practicing as a Muslim for like 2.5-3 years, and then I did
Okay,
my shahada
mashallah.
last year.
Mashallah.
And so yeah, so this is, even though this is like my first Ramadan as a Muslim, this is like my third Ramadan, and so yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Wow, mashallah.
Yeah, so I'm feeling this one's gonna. I mean, they've all been really insane so far, and I'm sure this one will be great as well. And so, but yeah, so I mean, yeah, you're trying to fight the system. You're like, okay, everything is.
Literally.
Yeah, you're like, you can like everything can be taken away from you. You can have no job, no this, but you're gonna work your heart out to help people because it's just the right thing to do, right?
Exactly.
And so that's amazing. And so now. I guess you've already kind of hit a little bit, but you face political challenges. You face challenges trying to get money overseas, right? What has been like the most massive challenge that you faced so far, and then how did you overcome this type of obstacle?
There was a week that we had the money and they were like, don't even send it because there's no water.
Wow.
That week killed me inside, honestly. I'll
Yeah.
send you a video. I went to talk to Berkeley City Council about it that week because they were just being extremely ignorant.
Mhm.
They have something called the Peace and Justice Commission
Yeah.
with a pastor, and Brother Majdi, he goes to our lighthouse. He owns him and his brothers own Jaffa Cafe.
Okay.
Um, they're Palestinian, and he's on the Peace and Justice Commission. So he helped that. He co-authored with the pastor like a legislation for Berkeley City to pass about like ceasefire and divestment. Because while I told you that Oakland actually did pass a small like ceasefire resolution in November 2023, they never passed any divestment
Mm.
legislation that would actually physically financially make a difference.
Yeah.
And same thing with Berkeley. So that day we were there, and it happened to coincide with that same week. And there wasn't a way that Allah solved that problem. But that day was just like, how despicable that there's just water and all of these things and food just sitting at the border rotting, and it's just not coming in.
And
And solar panels and all the things that like were keeping whatever was left of their system running that week, like there just wasn't. They were like, we want to buy a truck and there's no truck.
wow. And
Yeah.
s- and so where like so you go to the city council to ask for the water trucks, and then do they then send them?
No,
How
no,
does that work?
I that coincided with the week that they already had like a legislation written out for the city council to
Okay.
speak. And I went to speak like as a community member because their whole argument whenever we go to a city council, this is not a local issue. This doesn't affect local
Mm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you're taking dollars from our city and from our students and from the homeless population that are passing out in the middle of the street,
Yeah.
and you're sending part of it to Israel.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this has nothing to do with the people that live here, even if we weren't Muslim, even if we weren't Arab, even if we didn't have family overseas.
Yeah.
Why the hell are we doing that?
Yeah.
Like, I just basically went to just go like shame them, honestly, because I'm like, what are we doing? What are you guys doing? You're saying that this is not a local issue. This is the direct impact that you're having. These people have no water this week.
Yeah.
Thousands of people have no water. They're rationing water. They're not rationing food. They're rationing water.
Mm-hmm.
There's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy, being in San Francisco, and I saw literally you know, like
It's
endless
bad. It's worse. It's
endless
worse now.
homelessness rampant, right? But it's not only just that, right? It's I mean, there's one time where I when I would give out food and give out water, that was the one thing that people needed, is water, right? Like they would be like,
Yeah.
I would run out of food. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have any food, but they're like, thank you. All I needed was just water, and
Hmm.
but on top of that, right? Like it's especially in certain parts, it's not only just the homelessness, but it's dirty. It's there's disease. There's obviously drugs, unfortunately, and it's like, okay, like you're first of all, you're taking these tax dollars which could have helped these people, but now you're giving it to overseas to make things even worse over there,
Even worse.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's
And
not.
you're criminalizing the people who are trying to help.
Yeah. And so it's like, okay, if you're at least gonna take our tax dollars and make this place worse, at least make that place better. But somehow you're making this place worse and that place even more worse. It's like it doesn't make
And
sense.
that's the goal, is how much can they get away with that before people say, this, we can't take this anymore, this is enough. But
Yeah,
that hasn't happened yet.
yeah, absolutely. And
People
so
can't even get together on a general strike
no, 100%.
for one day.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so yeah, I mean, so I guess this is just kind of going off the questions here, but when you're like campaigning per se, and going to these city councils, are you doing this like within a group, or are you doing this mostly alone? Like what does your team look like when you're facing all of these challenges, and also sending like water,
I'm
of course.
alone. Usually I'm doing it alone. I'm doing everything alone. But
Wow.
sometimes at the city council, I would go if there's public comment, because they make you wait until I would wait sometimes 9, 10, 11, 12 hours just to comment. That's how they do it. They do it that way on purpose because they think nobody's gonna be patient. And
So you're
that's what I'm
just
telling
you're
you. It
just
was
sitting there like shaking. You're like, dude, please let me speak. And you're
Yeah, I
for
pushed my way up there past the security multiple times, because sometimes they try to be strategic about it, and they see what they can tell by looking at you what
like who's
you're
gonna
there to talk about.
yeah.
So they try to shut you down before you can even. But somebody yielded their time to me, and I got 3 minutes, and they couldn't stop me.
Wow.
Um, this happened multiple times, twice, 3 times at Oakland City Council, 2 times at Berkeley City Council. And then I saw that so I see if they're gonna have like enough support, like the San Francisco one, they had a crazy amount of support. I didn't even show up to that one because I was like, that's a shoe, and like I could tell it's gonna go through, and it did, alhamdulillah. But that
Alhamdulillah.
was back before people were building more like legislative power, and like more talking about like arms embargo and divestment. That was just at the time the smaller like ceasefire resolution ones. People say that that did have an impact because the city ones moved on to the state, and then the state ones, they use that to help when they charter, and they send like they with the drafts from like the UN and everything. People say that it has power with like the local governments and stuff. And the whole point of starting with the local government is to move on to then state and then federal. But obviously, everybody knows once we get to federal, now we have Trump. And
Yeah.
even before Trump, we had Biden. He was doing the exact same
Yeah.
thing,
I mean, his
honestly.
cabinet was just full of people who were
Yeah,
supporting what's going on, anyways, and so
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's
But
it's the same
now
coin.
the more concern now is about like you said, like fighting the system. Like they're trying to find new ways to criminalize like a bunch of things. So
And you're doing this by yourself.
yeah,
Wow, that's absurd. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes I would volunteer and help out, like groups like AROC, or the people who draft, like if they have like specific resolutions.
Hmm.
But if I know that they're gonna be there on that day, like I always show up to speak, like just in support. Because some people, I mean, you know the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
There's like a lot of like peace and love and kumbaya, and talk to people in a soft voice and tell them I see your heart and this and that. But I'm like, that only works when
Yeah.
people see you as a human. There's some people here who literally don't have any empathy or even see Muslims or Arabs as
For
human.
sure. For sure.
I'm gonna send you something that I read at the Berkeley City Council, because I was trying to show them, like, I'm like, this is not what you guys think it is. You guys are trying to turn it into two sides, because every time we have one of these city councils, obviously JCRC and all the like pro-Israeli packs, they send their people to always fill up the first 2 rows, and they look super organized, and they look like it's, like they're a community and this and that. And a lot of them are paid. They have like these nice glossy like matching like signs, like you could tell they're like from a group or something. Um And when they go up there, they try to turn it into like, again, like anti-Semitism
Yeah,
or just BS complaints. And it's really annoying when that holds more merit than us talking about starving children.
for sure.
It's like that just really shows you like where their priorities are. Like they clearly do not see us the same. So you cannot talk to them the same way. You have to be more firm. You have to be on the defensive sometimes, honestly.
Yeah,
Because what are we afraid of? Them calling us aggressive? Let them call us aggressive. Maybe we need to be more aggressive
yeah,
because this gentle approach has not been working.
yeah. No,
We
totally.
Muslims have not been getting an ounce of respect.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I totally agree with everything. Yeah, that's been one thing that's been on my mind more and more recently is, this idea of like, one, taking action, of course, and then two, like, like what is the fine line between like, being smiley and being open and kind and not, causing, harmful speech to one another, but then also like standing up for what is true. And
Hmm.
especially against those who are like blasphemers, for example. And so
Hmm.
so yeah, I mean that's something that I'm still like wrapping my mind around, but especially like you know it's just like, yeah, there's like the truth of the matter is like there are people who are starving, like there are people who are dying, there's people, as you
By
mentioned.
design, like they're being purposely starved. Like it's not that they're poor and that they can't afford it. They're being withheld, you
Yeah,
know?
and yeah, one word that you said perfectly is like like out of all of that stuff, probably one of the worst things is like they're the lack of dignity, and they're trying to rip the dignity away from like these people, and obviously from the people who try to stand up for it as well. And so,
Yeah,
but yeah, but like inshallah, you'll continue to help others, and alhamdulillah for all the work you've done. And so,
inshallah.
with that, I guess like one of my questions were, and so obviously answer this to the best of your ability, um, but like how much have you like raised, and how many people have you helped so far at this point?
Well, I mean, I know it's 200 families, but I've never like asked them to like count like
For
the
sure.
specific amount of people. And it was one water truck of 5,000 liters every single week for from August 2024 until like the end of 2025. And now I'm moving more into like food, like as water is becoming more available
Yeah.
finally, I'm now moving more into like food and clothes and medicine.
Wow. So
Yeah.
every single week you're just cooking up a batch, Chef Iman, just
Yeah.
getting food ready for the mosque, and then
Yeah.
sending water to Gaza. That's crazy.
Hmm.
Um, so what do you typically make the same meal every week, or do you always change it up for people?
I change it up. Sometimes I'll make like shawarma or like Yemeni, like chicken and rice. I'll do like Yemeni tea, Yemeni coffee, pastries, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Honestly, there's like a lot of elderly people there too, so I try to cater to like different people's tastes.
for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
just whatever I think is gonna bring people to the table. Also now I don't. Sometimes I still sell the food every week, but if I don't bring in as much, sometimes I don't do the
Yeah.
distribution once a week because water was a lot cheaper than, for example, food.
Hmm.
For food, maybe it'll take me 2 weeks
Yeah.
or 3 weeks, and then once I do it, I'll do like a big distribution at once because it's easier to do it that way
That
too.
makes sense. I mean, yeah, like there's no. You'd rather just get a lot more food than just send like scraps, I guess, for for lack of a better term, for people to go,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, um, and so I guess for like the our audience here, what does the flow look like? Like let's say they donate, right, and so and then I get you the money, of course. What is the process look like from there to then help, like, ultimately getting to into the hands of the people and the families?
Oh, so it depends on what we're distributing. If it's something like clothes, I'll have somebody go to like Gaza City or like where like there's like more markets where they can find things at a cheaper price and buy at wholesale.
Yeah.
And then they'll distribute on their way back. So like I said, there's a lot of disparity. So if they find more families in the north before they leave, they'll distribute some there,
Mm-hmm.
record for me. And I always tell them too, I'm like, if there's any family that's not comfortable being recorded, please don't record them. And sometimes that happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Last time we were only able to record like 27 or I don't know how many of the 25 of the kids because some didn't want to be on camera, and
Of
that's
course.
fine. Those are their kids. That's their.
Of course, of course.
Um, they have every right to say that. And when I would do orphan sponsorships, I don't show their faces at all. Like I would just have them hold it like in their hand and show their hand. Um, And I ask like based on like individual families, like, are you guys okay with this? Are you guys okay with that? Like, and if it's something like food, the flow probably might go like a little bit faster because we're gonna do it all in one day.
Okay.
But if it's something like clothes, they're gonna specifically look for the people who, need it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
then I guess, like for the water trucks, where are the water trucks coming from?
There's like a small, it's like, I guess you can consider it like a desalination station.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's small. Like they only serve like that specific area in the south. And if there's another area that wants, like for example, one time somebody from the masjid, they're like, hey, you do water, can you help me get a truck like really far, like from where you're doing it? I was like, let me check because they're doing solar and like the cost of like transportation is not good right now. And when
Mm-hmm.
I asked, they're like, no, like we work in this specific area. If you ask somebody there, it'll be much cheaper. And I like that because they're more transparent with me. They're not gonna tell me like, yeah, just pay way more and we'll do it for you.
For sure. That
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. And then, so now, right, you've been doing this for, 3 years at this point, right? 3 years
Two
plus.
two years, two
Two
years.
years, 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
The city council work, yeah, 3 years.
3 years. So yeah, I mean, you've just been an advocate, I mean,
Yeah.
for a very long time now. I guess in terms of, whether, the political, advocacy you've been doing, the fundraising you've been doing, what is one thing you wish you knew? Like, if you could go back in time and tell yourself, like, something, what's something that you wish that you knew?
I wish I did it earlier,
Mm,
like even earlier than I did, like from day one, because it was just tearing me up. Like I said, the city council thing, it felt like important work and it felt like something I needed to keep doing, even if it's not making progress. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I want to help people eat. I want to help people drink. How can I do that? I All these people's like Beit al Mal and pious projects, like they're good. They're good charities and they were doing work in Gaza, but once everything is shut down, they're saying that they can't get anything in anymore. How can I, you know? So I finally just took the leap and I made the connection with people on the ground who were already doing that work. And I started a relationship with multiple in different areas and it just grew from there.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And then, tying this back into Islam, right? Is there any like stories from like the Quran or any hadiths or just like Islamic stories in general that inspire you, that use it as inspiration to keep, you motivated with your fundraising efforts and your political efforts as well?
Yeah, I think like always just renewing intention because sometimes like everybody has enough ego, stuff like that. Things can whisper to you, or sometimes people maybe they'll praise you, or they'll be like, there are people who have tried to convince me to take money for myself.
Mm,
Like they'll be like, "Oh, you work really hard. Why don't you take some of the money for yourself?" I was like, "Why would I do that?"
yeah, for sure.
They're like, "No, like even in Islam, there's something that says." Because for a while I was doing orphan sponsorship, they're like, yeah, the person who's like in charge, if they need to take like a small amount for themselves, they can. I was like, if I need to take a small amount for myself, at the end of the day, I could go back and get a job and do
Yeah,
that again. Like I'm not limited right now. I'm still physically able to do what I need to do. I'm just choosing to allot a lot of my time to the volunteer work.
for sure.
Um, but alhamdulillah, like I'm in a position, like my family, they're not very well off at all, but being Yemeni and living with your family, you don't have to worry about things like rent a lot of the time. So
Yeah,
it's like I may not have a lot, but I still have more than others in my position.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
if I can not worry about these responsibilities and use that to worry about volunteer work, why not?
yeah.
Yeah. And there was also like a specific area too. It's like um about feeding people where it's like we don't feed people for recognition or for people's praise. Like we only do it because that's what Allah wants us to do, like liwajhillah. Like we only are doing it because that's literally our responsibility and that's what we should be doing anyways.
Of
So to
course.
always keep that like in the back of your mind, like that's why I'm doing it, that's why I'm doing it, that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, just for pleasing Allah. No, absolutely.
Like if there's something that I can do, I want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean that's the best, and of course, that leads us to like Ramadan, right? Like setting intentions extremely important. And so, do you have any personal goals you're setting for yourself for I guess this year, but Ramadan specifically?
I want to finish the Quran, finish reading the Quran and pull off inshallah one. one or two iftars for the charity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, just in general, like I try to spend as much time as I can in the masjid in Ramadan. Like I make sure I pray tarawih every night in congregation
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I feel like it's more helpful and helps you stay focused
for sure.
to hear the khutbah. Yeah, that's it for Ramadan probably.
Yeah.
Like I want to spend more time just like focusing on siyam and reading, you know, because I don't always like a long time ago when I was busy, caught up with like work and call, I didn't really have time for that.
Mm-hmm. For
And I
sure.
would try my hardest to make time for that because you're supposed to prioritize that, but it's like when you're getting home late from work and from school and everything, it's like you have to sleep at a certain time so you can wake up for Fajr, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then I guess what does the future look like in terms of your charity and your fundraising goals?
Whatever it looks like for our brothers and sisters is what it's gonna look like for me. I move and shift with how the situation moves with them.
For sure.
When they move to different areas, I split into different areas. You know, I would always prefer to do that than to have to meet new people or work with new people because I don't mind like meeting new families to help them like on a one-time basis.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm allocating funds to somebody, especially after 2 3 years of genocide, it's done a number on people. And I'm from Yemen, so I know what like hunger and war and things do to people. Even people who had like good upbringing and good, unfortunately, you see like
Mm-hmm.
they some people just can't like see a certain amount of money and do what they're supposed to do with it, unfortunately. Like that's just it's sad, but that's what the world has come to. Like when you push people into famine, people become desperate, you know?
Yeah.
I've watched my own friends who have helped like just become skinnier and skinnier and skinnier. It's devastating.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, for thank you for your time. Inshallah, we'll be able to support you not for not only this fundraiser but hopefully more things in the future. Of course, we're always gonna keep our Gaza brothers and sisters, our Palestinian brothers and sisters in our hearts and our prayers. But
Inshallah.
this, like, I hope from my side, this isn't just like a one-time YouTube get clicks, get likes, get views.
No,
No,
yeah,
like this is something that I would love to help set up more things in the future. And so, yeah, I really appreciate your passion, your energy, and inshallah we'll be able to do some great things. And may Allah, keep you on the straight path, keep you energetic
yeah.
and
Ameen.
passionate, and
Ameen.
obviously accept your Ramadan. And so, Aman, thank you for your time. And yeah, we're gonna do an update video with you after to see how much we raise, and then then hopefully we can maybe even share some videos that you're able to collect about some of the people, and what so our viewers can see like what they were able to produce. But again,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Aman, and
Inshallah.
yeah, like I hope you have a great Ramadan, and yeah, we'll talk to you very soon.
You too, inshallah. Thank you.
Of course.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.